Luck is the excuse of the undisciplined mind. Talent is the comfort blanket of those who never finished what they started. But self-discipline is the silent force that bends time, shapes destiny, and turns ordinary men into legends. Most people are waiting to feel motivated, waiting to be chosen, waiting for the perfect moment when fear disappears and confidence magically arrives. They mistake emotion for power. They believe success begins when the conditions are right. But history tells a harsher, more liberating truth. Success begins when discipline overrides feeling. The world remembers Edison not because he was lucky, but because he returned to the workshop when the world told him to quit. It remembers Lincoln not because he was gifted with ease, but because he stood up again after being broken publicly, politically, and personally. It remembers Carnegie not for talent alone, but for the ruthless consistency with which he applied a single philosophy until steel obeyed his will. Self-discipline is not punishment. It is identity. It is the decision to act in alignment with a future you respect, even when the present begs for comfort. It is waking up before the world applauds you. It is working in silence while others announce intentions they will never fulfill. Talent without discipline is potential wasted in imagination. Luck without discipline is a moment that passes unnoticed, but discipline without talent will still build empires. Because discipline trains the mind to command the body. It teaches the nervous system that hesitation is not an option. It replaces excuses with execution. And once that pattern is set, life begins to respond differently. Doors open, not out of sympathy, but out of inevitability. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they cannot govern themselves. They let moods decide their actions. They let distractions dictate their focus. They let fatigue speak louder than vision. And every time they obey weakness, they reinforce an identity of inconsistency. Napoleon Hill understood this when he spoke of definiteness of purpose backed by persistence. Purpose without discipline is a fantasy. Discipline without purpose is suffering. But together, they become unstoppable momentum. Consider Ford. He was mocked, bankrupted, dismissed. But every morning, discipline carried him back to the same vision. Not enthusiasm, not hope. Discipline, the kind that shows up when inspiration is absent, the kind that keeps building when no one is watching. Self-discipline is the bridge between desire and reality. Without it, desire becomes frustration. With it, desire becomes direction. And clarity sharpens discipline. When the mind knows where it is going, it tolerates temporary discomfort. When the vision is vivid, the sacrifice feels meaningful. But when the goal is vague, even small effort feels unbearable. This is why the disciplined mind spends time in solitude, defining what it stands for, what it refuses to accept, and what it is willing to endure. Purpose fuels discipline. Discipline protects purpose. The undisciplined mind seeks pleasure now and pays later. The disciplined mind pays now and lives free later. One trades future power for present comfort. The other trades comfort for command. Gratitude strengthens discipline in a way few understand. When you are grateful, you stop resenting effort. You see work as an opportunity to prove alignment with your higher self. Complaining weakens discipline because it frames effort as injustice. Gratitude reframes it as privilege. Adaptability is discipline's quieter cousin. The disciplined do not cling to methods. They cling to principles. When the world changes, They adjust strategy without abandoning vision. They do not collapse when plans fail. They recalibrate. Discipline keeps them steady, while chaos rearranges the board. Resilience is discipline under pressure. Anyone can be disciplined when results are immediate, but true discipline persists when progress is invisible, when days blur together, when effort feels unanswered. This is where most people retreat. This is where a few advance. Learning becomes inevitable for the disciplined, not because it is comfortable, but because stagnation is unacceptable. They read when others scroll. They listen when others talk. They refine when others repeat mistakes. Growth is not accidental. It is enforced by disciplined curiosity. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the identity shifts. You stop asking if you feel like doing the work. You stop negotiating with resistance. You become someone who does what must be done, regardless of mood. And the world treats you accordingly. Opportunities seek you out. People trust your word. Your confidence becomes calm, not loud. You move with certainty because you have evidence built through kept promises to yourself. This is the real secret the undisciplined never grasp. Discipline builds self-respect, and self-respect attracts success more reliably than any stroke of luck. In the end, discipline is freedom. Freedom from emotional chaos. Freedom from inconsistency. Freedom from regret. It is the power to shape your life deliberately, rather than reactively. Talent may open a door, once luck may knock, unexpectedly, but discipline builds the house, secures the foundation, and decides who is allowed inside. And when discipline becomes your nature, you no longer wait for the world to change. You become the force that changes it. Subscribe for more videos.